everybody, welcome to Get Busy Watching! I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Welcome to my final rapid fire for animation and family-friendly movies. Let's get started. Ruby Gillman is a Kraken living as a human. After saving a boy from drowning, her entire life is turned upside down as she learns about her extended family she never met. Did you see last year's Turning Red? Then you've seen this movie. This is worse, and Turning Red wasn't that great either. Already the setup makes no sense. She lives among people, but is blue and has fins, but chalks it up to being Canadian. Sure, movie. People are that dumb in this universe. Lo and behold, her mother has been keeping secrets from her, and it changes everything. She finds out she's the princess of the entire ocean. Her real estate saleswoman mother used to be a great warrior against the evil mermaids. There's truly a lot going on in this thing, and it never really lets up on the whole learning something new shtick. About the only enjoyable moments are with the main antagonist, who is essentially an evil Ariel. Hey, look at that! DreamWorks going back to their anti-Disney roots. And the character is shamelessly evil. Not misunderstood, not a misguided anti-hero, just a villain. Too bad those positives are in this movie. It was painfully mediocre. I was the only one in my theater, on my phone for 80% of the time, and had no problems with keeping up with it. I was bored with it, but maybe kids will like it. My honest rating for Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, a week 3 out of 5.
I'm from Canada. Eh?
Oh, that totally makes sense.
The adolescent freaky karate tortoises are desperate to be seen as heroes by the humans. They take up a mission to stop the creation of a doomsday machine by another mutant called Superfly. It's alright. It's actually a little worse than I thought it would be. But as a fan of the franchise once upon a time, it does a couple of things that I can appreciate. Let's get the easy cheap shots out of the way. April O'Neil is black and I don't like her design. Fine, I'm a racist. Ya got me. As for the story, it's your garden variety, humans treat me bad, so all humans must die kind of bad guy. And the turtles have to stop him. I think it would have made more sense to go after the humans that directly killed his creator, but hey, I'm not a juiced up housefly. What do I know? April isn't all that likable. Worse are the turtles themselves, who have scenes where they really need to shut up. Also, much as I appreciate that the turtles actually sound like teenagers, Leo and Mikey sound very adult, which threw me off. Several backstories for the mutants have been changed, which is strange because they keep some lore intact, and frankly, I'm a little tired of stories that are allegories for segregation. And oh my god, the incessant pop culture references were giving me a headache! I don't mind Splinter's change to being anti-human as it fits the tired theme of the story. Surprisingly, Black April doesn't chime in at all. I will concede that I do enjoy some things. Raphael was hilariously violent prone, and the animation style is nice, and the complementing action sometimes being pretty solid. Audiences are eating this up, so I guess I'm in the minority on this one. Hell, I prefer Out of the Shadows over this. Hot take alert. I imagine some Turtles fans will appreciate the love of some of the more underrated support characters that don't get a lot of exposure. But on a personal level, I'd rather just stick to the original cartoon. Hell, the 2003 Fox cartoon was better than this. I don't personally recommend it, but kids might enjoy it. My honest rating for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, a week 3 out of 5.
Enough talk! I dream about fighting every night.
You got a rage problem, right?
That's not a problem.
Based on the popular French animated show, this shy teenage girl and this reclusive boy are chosen by mystical forces to be Ladybug and CATNOIR to fight an evil destroying Paris. It's weirdly not that bad. Compared to the likes of Marvel and DC of late, this does a better job of standing out by being a musical romance. I can't say I've seen that before. Make no mistake, this is for kids. You have the cliche of the socially awkward, clumsy main character who embarrasses herself at school and falls for the cute boy. She doesn't want to be a superhero, but rises to the occasion when she knows she can help. It's pretty by the numbers. CATNOIR is kind of obnoxious when he tries to be overconfident compared to his alter ego Adrian, who is a sweet and likable kid. But I can't help but see that Ladybug and CATNOIR each have Spider-Man's powers. What with Ladybug swinging with her yo-yo and CATNOIR's ability to climb walls. And the singer for Ladybug is distractingly different from her speaking actor. With all that said, I can't deny that the movie has a fair amount of charm. The animation is nice, energized, and during the action scenes, it's surprisingly hard-hitting for a kids movie, falling from fatally high places and landing hard, and a bit of tame violence that even live-action movies don't always get right with more mature ratings. The musical numbers aren't anything special, but are nice to listen to in the moment, and despite a third-act breakup over a classic misunderstanding, the budding young romance between Ladybug and CATNOIR is kinda cute. It's not setting the stage for how superhero movies should be made, but maybe it should. Marvel and DC aren't doing squat with their IPs, so yeah. This is probably the best, let's say, maybe it's better to say it's the most standout of superhero movies this year. My honest rating for Miraculous, Ladybug, and CATNOIR, a strong 3 out of 5.
Whoa! Our powers!
Stronger. Together! Yeah!
Set in the 80s, action movie star Johnny Cage gets unwittingly sucked into a plot that has demons trying to bring back an evil god to take over the world. Not Warner Animation Group's worst, but definitely their most confusing. Dude, what is going on with you guys, WAG? You used to be the unsung kings of animation. It's just so weird. Why is it in the 80s? Why is it a throwback to 80s action movies? Why is it not a what-if scenario if Johnny Cage got Kronika's crown? Why is Jennifer Grey playing Jennifer Grey? Okay, actually, that was pretty funny. This is clearly someone in the animation department not giving the slightest crap and just did the most random thing that came to their mind. Congrats, jerk! You threw a curveball and I kinda don't like it. But take it in a vacuum, is it really that bad? I guess not. Johnny Cage is still portrayed as a doofus, which I'm liking less and less as time goes on, missing the days when he was a slightly more dignified character pre-MK9. His one-liners are hit and miss, which might be the point, though he could stand to shut up once in a while, compounded by his incessant narrating. Ashra is brilliantly portrayed by the immortally amazing and unnaturally gorgeous Kelly Hu, and of course, Gilbert Gottfried. Rest in peace, our one true Iago. And it's starting to become a laughable cliche to see Robin Atkin Downes keep playing the final baddie for a few minutes. The story is whatever. The action is whatever, minus some physical comedy. Even the violence is whatever. This is Mortal Kombat. Why is the violence whatever? As previously stated, it's not WAG's worst, but please for the love of God, tell me that Super Sons was not the one true swan song of WAG. I do not want to live in a world where WAG is on par with God Emperor Disney. Maybe hardcore MK fans will like this more than I will, but I don't think I recommend it. My honest rating for Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match, a weak 3 out of 5.
Join us and all your dreams will come true.
Oh no, this club sounds great. Where do I sign? Fuck you!
Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman find themselves in alternate realities with no knowledge of why they're there and no memories of their real identities. WAG's been losing it, man. This feels like a collage of stories that are interconnected in the loosest way possible. And even when everything does come together, it's lame. If the upcoming Crisis on Infinite Earths is truly the end of the Tomorrowverse, then I guess it makes sense that WAG's just trying to cram in the stories they won't get to tell, since this series didn't last that long by comparison to the New 52 series. But whether or not this was a Hail Mary to get their stories out there, or was always part of the plan, it's a rough sit. The narrative is all over the place. Wonder Woman is a cowgirl who doesn't want to help the innocent against Jonah Hex, who is generally an anti-hero, not a villain. Batman is in a fantasy swords and sorcery world where he kills so many people with a sword. Superman is in a black and white world that feels like a Twilight Zone episode, which was its real inspiration, trying to figure out who among these people is an alien. And if you're wondering what any of this has to do with WARWORLD, next to nothing! Martian Manhunter was forced to use his telepathic powers against the heroes by Mongol, and all of this was a clumsy buildup to Crisis. The only thing that saves it is a random-ass appearance by the main man himself, Lobo, who steals the show. Lobo really did brighten up my experience. But everything else about this was a turkey, and it really shook my confidence in WAG. Here's hoping that Crisis on Infinite Earths is a much more palatable swan song to the Tomorrowverse. My honest rating for Justice League WARWORLD, a 2 out of 5.
That is nothing compared to the crisis that is to come.
The magical ruler of a kingdom refuses to give back the wishes the citizens make. His wannabe apprentice retaliates by wishing on a magical star and schemes to steal back the wishes. If that summary didn't make any sense to you, then you're in good company, because not a lot about this did. It has its moments, I guess, but God Emperor Disney is not back to form. As I said, the story doesn't make a lick of sense. People give King Chris Pine a wish and keeps them, and they all hope that he grants them one day. But the people forget their wishes, and it makes them sad when they fork it over. Some elements make sense, like not granting ones that are too vague and could lead to problems, but it's not exactly explained how the wish granting works or why he does it in spaced out time. I was actually starting to think that main character Asha was being high and mighty, questioning a system that she had no real knowledge of, and was the real villain of the story for how unlikable she was. But soon, everyone reared their faces, and they were all like that! The villain, the protagonist, there was no one to gravitate toward, which soon had me not enjoying the movie, and it never improved. The only positives I can say are Pine as the villain, weirdly enough. The best villains that Disney makes are the ones who are evil and love being evil. He was hammy and a ton of fun. While most of the music was bland and forgettable, only the villain song, This Is the Thanks I Get, for its deliciously corny evil lyrics, and Knowing What I Know Now, my personal favorite, and the drum-heavy beat of that song really stood out. The art style is solid, feeling closer to hand-drawn animation of yesteryear, but the imagination is just not there, and nothing truly popped. Outside of adorable poster character Star. I do want a plushie of Star. It probably doesn't help that I missed the first 5-ish minutes, so therefore I probably missed a lot of context. But man, I was struggling to keep up with this thing. I may not like the House of Rat these days, but I like to think that I want this company to make good products again. Look, if you have youngins who want to see it, then go ahead. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but for the adults in the audience, luck to ya. My honest rating for Wish, a week 3 out of 5.
When does the magic happen? Huh?
Oh, something's happened.
I'm talking. I am talking. Ah, who knew my voice would be this low?
Set in the late 1940s, a young boy is visited by an ominous netherworldly heron that tells him that his dead mother and missing aunt are in another world and sets out to rescue them. Ah, damn it, I really wanted to like this one. And in most ways I do, but where it starts incredibly strong and gripping, it kind of disintegrates the further in we get and ends really poorly to me. I'm with it for the first half, maybe even longer. At first, I was interpreting the story as an allegory for his soldier's PTSD. A horrifying vision of his mother dying in a bombing during the war, trying to readjust to a peaceful life, but not quite managing to let go of the soldier within, and in some ways, even outright rejecting his new reality. What I loved was how this boy, Mahito, seemed to genuinely try his best to make his current situation work. As questionable as it is that his father is marrying his dead wife's twin sister, having a baby with her, all within a year, and she bold-faced tells him that she's his new mom. But hey, fantasy, it's about the bigger picture, and maybe something got mistranslated. Mahito clearly doesn't care about her, but dutifully respects her. I really got engrossed when the aunt disappears into the fantasy world and it's up to him to save her. Not because he cares about her, but because his dad does. Where everything falls apart is when we get to the fantasy world in this mysterious ruined tower. Characters appear as younger versions of themselves, like one of the grannies is now young and strong, but Mahito has no real reaction to it. When he meets the younger version of his mom, he has no reaction. It gets really confusing, and whatever message and themes I thought it was trying to say, I no longer understood it. And by the time the movie wraps up, I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and I was losing interest badly. This hurts, because I want to see more Studio Ghibli films, and dear Lord, is the animation gorgeous. Oh, I'll take this over God Emperor Disney any day. But this just felt so jumbled to me. Maybe I misinterpreted something along the way, but it wasn't my cup of tea. My honest rating for The Boy and the Heron, a 3 out of 5.
お待ちしておりましたぞ。
A teen boy on probation accidentally steals a valuable piece of tech that looks like a Nintendo Switch from a pair of bumbling crooks and hides out at a camp. It's okay. It's for the kids, so of course it's not really meant for me. I won't say that there's not good in it, but yeah, it's for the kids. I give credit that the actors are trying. Some a little more over the top than others, with only the living legend Christopher Lloyd making it genuinely work. But there is a sincerity when it's trying. I also appreciate that it doesn't fall too far into the modern tropes of kids movies, such as an over-reliance on fart jokes, bathroom humor, nothing like that to appeal to tiny children. I won't say they aren't there, but it's not prominent. Beyond that, the story is about as predictable as you can guess. Kid with an attitude problem just trying to cruise on through his situation, being mean to those who are just trying to be his friend, but constantly rejecting them, aside from the cute girl that gives him attention. Because of course. It hits a lot of school tropes, while with a rival bully with very little depth to him, other than what's told and not shown. Even when there was an opportunity for main character Noah to grow as a character, the movie doesn't take that opportunity. But the real hurt comes from the climax, where it becomes a discount Home Alone. The kids set up traps for the bumbling Diet Harry and Marv, slapstick galore, but as someone who grew up on the first two Home Alones, I know what it takes to make the pain look good, and nothing about this accomplishes that. It's not really for me, but I can understand if kids enjoy this. So if you have kids that are itching for a movie day, this really isn't a bad way to go. Adults though, just be ready, it's not Home Alone. My honest rating for Camp Hideout, a 3 out of 5.
Thanks, Jake. That was really fun.
That's the most important thing, is that we got a chance to work together. To get past our differences, right?
This Japanese fantasy crime comedy sees Little Red Riding Hood and Cinderella going to the prince's ball, only to get wrapped up in the murder mystery of the royal hairdresser. It's a cute take on the classic fairy tales and certainly does crossovers better than most. Is it perfect? No, but it's a fun little ride for what it is. The setting looks and feels like a classic fairy tale. It's colorful and vibrant. The actors are impossibly beautiful, and the costumes are gorgeous. I particularly love Cinderella's hair clip with the butterflies, and Red Riding Hood's red gown is fabulous. Though I do wish it came with some kind of stylish headwear to keep her hood motif in theme. But hot diggity, Actresses Kana Hashimoto and Yuko Araki are rocking them like it's the only style that matters. Early on, there's definitely a lot of wonderful comedy. Some cute lines and physicality, it certainly had me giggling. I think Midoriko Kimura as the witch is a hit and miss. She has some seriously funny moments, but dear lord, what's with her cackling? It would have been fine one time, but she does it a lot, and it started to grate my balls. And finally, I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities for some other interconnected fairy tale characters. Prince Gilbert apparently loved a woman named Remy, but who's Remy? Why couldn't she be Snow White or Aurora? It's also never really explained why Red Riding Hood suddenly becomes the movie's detective. She's never established to have puzzle-solving skills, and Paul the Rat got pretty annoying after a while. I think if you don't take it too seriously, it's a fine enough watch. I know I certainly enjoyed myself, blemishes and all. If you've got a kiddo that likes fairy tales, if you're an adult who likes fairy tales, and you're subscribed to Netflix, give this a watch, see what you think. My honest rating for Once Upon a Crime, a 4 out of 5.
バーバラ、また靴が泥だらけよ。いやーじゃないし、こんな靴じゃ舞踏会に行けないでしょ。
A young Willy Wonka is eager to start up his own chocolate shop. However, established shops sabotage his efforts for success and must figure out how to navigate around them. It has its moments that feel like it does belong in the original, but it is still kind of messy. I won't deny that Timothée Chalamet holds his head above water. He's eccentric, quirky, and wildly energized. And if that really is him singing the songs, then he sure does know how to pick the projects that showcase his talent. There are definitely some standout moments, like when Wonka makes a special chocolate for the little girl Noodle, yes, that is her name, and his briefcase is a tiny little factory that was oh so enjoyable to look at. And when we get to the scene where Wonka and his friends open their shop, it's truly amazing how it's a smaller scale version of the factory we see in the original. The set is beautifully created and is probably the standout scene in the entire movie. And if Chalamet isn't stealing the show, Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa does. I know he hated working on the movie, but he did a fun job. The issues crop up when you really take a step back and see what this flick is. It's borderline business politics, with Wonka being held down by 3 antagonists rather than just the one that fans of the OG would know, Slugworth. As animated and as wonderful as the villain's chemistry is, it's unnecessary to have the other 2 characters that no one would know. But more importantly, half the movie is a rags to riches story, then shifts gears into becoming a heist thriller. Do fans of the franchise care about these things? Why wouldn't this just be about Wonka already having an established shop and show how it grows from there? Not how it opened. Something about the execution here feels boring at times. If you have kids that haven't seen the original, then, well, you're bad parents. But that's honestly the only way you could enjoy this movie. It's not the worst I've ever seen, it's not even really bad. It's just pointless. If you know and love the original, then this doesn't do enough to justify its own existence. It's not special enough for that. It's not a waste of time, but it's not gonna stand the test of time either. My honest rating for Wonka, a 3 out of 5.
Who in their right mind wants a chocolate that makes you fly?
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Who's for Havercock?
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, stay safe and healthy out there, hope to see you soon.